Okay. Alright, we're in Shin Tzadi Tes, start Siftal over again. Just one thing I just was looking over yesterday. We'll ask a question about, what about airports and things and different things like that on the edge of the city. So the truth is, I was thinking about it in Shin Tzadi Tes, it talks about Yeshua Sheves al Sfas HaNachal. So the Magen Avraham says, there's a question about what about, fine, that's a dry nachal. And nar doesn't, is not included, but a dry nachal for shimush is included. What about any other space, flat space, which is usable? Mishnah Berurah brings the Magen Avraham, and he says, I'm Magen Avraham shmistapek, b'chol makom shmishtamshim b'nei nasr limdod sham. He brings El Yerabah, says Yeshua Hakel, because of different cheshbonos. So therefore, any makom which is not a makom dira, but it's for shimush of the city, will be considered part of the city. So therefore, an airport, other things like that would be the will be considered part of, including all the runways, everything, whatever, would be considered part of the city, and you would measure the tchum from outside the airport, because it's just like a dry nachal. I was thinking, I didn't see anyone talk about it beferish, but that's it'd be the same din.
Cemetery part? Is the cemetery a shimush of the city?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's not, there's no shimush though. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure about. I don't know. I don't know. Fine. So if the siftal low, yimdo de l'kneged ha'ir, you can measure straight from the city. If you leave Yeshari Megayos Connecta, even if there are right next to the city, there's some hills and valleys and things or whatever. It's hard to measure. Lo yech mi connected. Don't go down. Let's say 10 miles or whatever, 20 kilometers, whatever it is, where it's flat. You'd see the shu yashar. And then just walk straight over there, and then after you pass the hilly area, the few hills, then go back up. If you meet a Shemada Chama, you have to go straight from the city. When you get to a hill, again, we're not talking about a mountain because, in general, we'll see how to do that. If it's such a vertical slope, let's say you have a weighted rope, and if you held it out from the top to the bottom, like I said, if you have a mountain, you generally don't have, it depends where you are. If you have a mountain next to the city, I don't know how that will work exactly, but if it's a hill, then lo yisrachach v'kenegdo, if you took a chut mishkos on a stick, lo yisrachach v'kenegdo ulamata b'shipulo arba amos, it would hit the bottom, and it hits the bottom within Dal Amos. They have a stick with Dal Amos, and it would hit the bottom of the hill or the slope, whatever part of the slope I guess you're measuring or whatever. And Dal Amos, then it's considered like a vertical wall. As in Tarach Limdoid, you don't count because it's a vertical wall. Because if you have a wall, you don't count. It's no point in measuring. Here it's a little slope. You don't count it. And Yesh Misho Barosho.
You're talking about the full length of a 50 on the rope, right? So it's only going.
No, we're talking over here. This is a separate. The your Dal Amos thing is a separate rope.
Understood.
Right.
But the down amount is 50 amos and 4 amos across. That's how steep it is.
The down stuff is like 50 amos. It gives a shear in a little bit exactly what it is. But the point is that however high up the mountain is, if it's within 4 amos, it goes up. So that's a steep enough hill to be considered a wall. But we'll see. It does give a shear in a minute. If there's a flat top on top of a place to walk on top of the hill, so then you have to measure that. But the sides you don't have to cheshbon the sides.
In other words, you cut out the mountain from
Right. It's kilo. Like I said, it's kilo.
Measure until the beginning of it, and then you pick up
At the end, or if there's a flat top, let's say it goes for.
the whole thing up.
Then you just measure the top. Just like let's say you have a wall with a very thick wall, so you won't measure. You don't measure the vertical side. You can't measure, but you measure the top. So.
You measure the thickness of the wall, would you not?
No, I don't think so. Unless it's more than passage, unless it's a dal tvachim. If that's a dal tvachim, then you don't. It's not nechshav anything. You'd skip over. Well, I guess you would measure part. I don't know. I'm not sure. Here, so he explains, if it goes further than dal amos, mislaket asara b'toch chamesh, and it raises 10 tvachim within 5 amos. Hainu shebehilu chamish amos sheshipur ola sar tvachim azvoim. Then we start trying. We have to start working out the slope. Azvoim aim misvaso al svaso el chamishim ama. If the hill is less than chamishim ama, mavliu b'chevel shel chamishim ama. So then basically you just mavliya it in your measurement. Shazoykev eitz gavoa b'svaso mizeh. You put a high pole on one side. V'eitz acher kenegdo b'svaso mizeh. And you put on the other side of this hill, you put another pole. Moteach chevel mizeh lezeh 50 amma, and you're fine. It's more than 50 amma. It's never going to come to the din of measuring with a dal amos rope. This is how you do it. One person stands at the bottom of the hill, and the other person stands at the top. You take a rope and you stretch it arba amos away. The guy at the bottom holds the rope by his chest, and the other guy bends down by his feet, and he holds and stretch the rope there. You keep on going up to you hit the top of the hill where he holds the dal amos rope by his chest, and then the guy holds at the bottom, and then they keep on doing that. It's very steep. The behulach abar amos ola asar tvachim, that within abar amos is a steep section, or it's a steep hill, that within abar amos is ola asar tvachim. As a kilubo, they say, okay, you don't have to. It's really hard to measure. You don't need mountain climbers here. Kilubo v'lo hitrichul havlio b'chevel shachamishim ama ayudei koyros ela im einbo ela chamishim ama yishar isa kama yeshbo lefi oimed hadas. If it's even steeper, so then the first case is a case where it's in 5 amos, so it's a little bit of a slope. But if it's even steeper than that, and it's within 4 amos, which we saw other dinim tell him it's laket that's considered that is really considered a vertical wall. Then a mekilim, and you don't even have to put the poles. You just make it. You mishar it. Kama yeshbo lefi omed hadas. Then you should go ahead and do the arba amos thing if you can. Obviously, if you can't, then you have to, think about it. Again, I don't know the din of a mountain. If there's a very tall, a mountain, or just a tall hill next to, I don't know how you. I don't think personally they have to climb a mountain. It's not common. Usually there's hills. But if you're in the mountain, if they're in the mountains, and there's, I don't know. You guess then if you over the das, maybe you look at the satellite picture. I don't know the map. Then you have to do fi over the das. Higia lagai. If you come to a valley, a ravine or a valley, in chutma mishkolos misrachim v'kanegel lamata arba amos. Same type of idea. If you come to a canyon, a valley, a cliff, I don't know, whatever. If the weighted rope goes out more than arba amos, azvarim im yachol havliyoi bechevel shechamishim ama mavlio. If you can go ahead and just measure chamishim ama out, so then just even though there is a slope, just mavlio, it's part of the ground. In lav, mono lebechel arba amos, again, you climb down, you do arba amos, ushalo yehi oimek yoser me'alpayim. That's only where it's not, deep, yoser me'alpayim. But im homak yoser me'alpayim, moded hayarida v'aliyah. If it's, kol hashipua. I think that, I don't think it means that it's a deep canyon. I think it just means if the valley itself is more than, alpayim amma. Then you go ahead and then you do have to measure the sides of the valley or whatever.
And then the tchum would end on the slope.
Yeah. ואז אם יכול להביא בחבל של 50 אמה, ואם אין החוט מסרחק מכנגד 4 אמות, if it is very steep, אז אם יכול להביא בחבל של 50 אמה, מבליע. If you can go ahead and just מבליע it, fine. ואם לאו, אינו מודי כלל השיפוע של ירידה ועלייה, you cut that out, אלא המישור של מטה, you measure the floor of the valley, even if it's deeper than alpayim, so then you just like I said, then you end up ending over there.
How do you get there? So you come to the edge of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. So
you have to, so to speak, measure the slope down. You continue the measurement from the ground.
Yeah, so that, like I said, the same thing as with the mountain. I mean, I guess you have to, you wouldn't have to, I guess, go down the trail. I mean, I don't know. I think that,
is it a dispensation because it's too hard to measure, or something that's
the Mishabura says that, says כיוון שהוא עומק יוסר מאלפיים, הוא שיר תחום שבס, חשוב בפני עצמו, then it's considered like it's a part of the ground, like it's like sort of like part of the ground, and then it has, it's not like a, hill sort of like a wall, but like a valley is a little bit different because, people generally, like it's one thing, people generally, will go down, well it depends, person has to relate to a valley much more than to a har, because the mountains, okay, it stops here, but they want to continue, I guess it depends if there's a big ravine. Like I said, I don't know, if a person wants to, wants to hike down the side of, like I say, a canyon or something like that, so if it's a deep, he has to know where, even if it seems like it's vertical, it's not so simple. Higia lahar or lagay v'chol ma shehu memenu k'neged hayir hu rachav mechamishim amar. Let's say it's more than 50 amar. She'eni yachol lavliya, you can't be mavliya. Kagon shu b'mizrach hayir chol orach mizrach eni yachol lahavliya, you can't be mavliya that part. Im yachol lahavliya b'soch alpayim shel tzad safan or dar. If you could go ahead and just let's say you were able to measure let's say you can't measure it. So then, if you, from the Tzad Safar and Tzad Daram, you go up high, you measure that out. So what you would do, I guess, it was something which was completely just not measurable. So then, you go to the north, 2,000 amma, and I guess you then you go ahead and square it out, and if it's within 2,000 amma, down, that's where you would have to, make your measurement. Since it's within the tchum of one side of the city, if you can't do that, you shouldn't go ahead and stand, let's say, go around and on the outside of the mountain and try to measure over there. If the shash, people will see you measuring over there and think, oh, that's where Tchum Shabbos is. Let's say you have a few hills or a few whatever, steep hill, you can't, or whatever it is, you can't measure over. So don't, with the person holding the chevel shouldn't go to the other side and try to figure it out, because if someone sees it, they might think, oh, he's measuring here, oh, that's where Tchum Shabbos finishes, even if it finishes actually much earlier. So therefore, you go to the north, you go to the south, but you don't go to the other side. Ein soichen el al medidas adam mumche, sheyodei midas akarka. You can only soich on someone who knows how to measure. He's a mumche, he knows how to measure ground, or he knows how to measure tchumim. I don't know nowadays, I don't know who's the mumche or not a mumche, I don't know. Hayu lanu tchumin Shabbos muchzakin, vam mumche umada. Let's say there's a city, the old tchum Shabbos is until a certain point, and a mumche came and said, oh, measured it, it's wrong. Riba betchum mehamia betchum, either he added more, made less. Shomin lo af betchum sheriba. Even if he made the tchum bigger, then we listen to the mumche. Hagal madar umalta bidasu mizrach tzvonit yisera al shekeneged mizrach dromis. Let's say he measured it and he found that the tchum is longer by the northeast corner than from the southeast corner. It goes out like a slant. Moteach hachut shel simen atchum mizeh lozeh ba'alachsa. And then you go ahead and you take it and you measure ba'alachsa. Some say it was 2 days over here. Some say that the reason why it was shorter because there used to be something there and it couldn't be measured, so that's why it was shorter. So you rely on that. And some say that you're not Torah. Then you say you made a mistake, whatever it was. So a person measured more on the top, so he just goes straight down and you can make it and make more tchum. Test. In both shnei mumchim umadado as a tchum. If two mumchim come and they measure it, echa riba echa mir. They come out two different measurements. Shomin lamarbe. Got halacha tchumin lahakel. You listen to the person who puts more, makes it bigger. As long as it doesn't seem that it's more than the midah of next. It's next we say 580 amma. We'll see in a minute that it's as long as it's not more than the other person's diagonal measurement, the diagonal measurement of the square. As long as it's not more than that. Ketzad be'eshiyar bezeh. Well, this guy made it bigger. No more shema harishain. We say, okay, maybe this guy made a mistake. Maybe he measured the diagonal, and then from there he went down. He measured alpine for the diagonal, and if you do that, everyone knows that the diagonal is always bigger than the straight part. So the hypotenuse, or you want to call it. So therefore, he made a mistake in measuring that. He did 2,000 amos there, and then he measured and ended up. That's how he made his alpayim. So the straight area is going to be less. And this guy went ahead and measured alpayim and selah here from the side of the city. But we don't say that the first guy made a huge mistake, and that ends up the Quran say whatever. It's about 580 amma. We give him 580 amma, of leeway between. If one guy is a lot more is more than that, then we say no. Then you're way off, and we'll go with the smaller guy. With a shorter distance.
But if it's more, then you have to measure all over again. Is that the idea?
No, you go by the short. Then I guess you rely on the person who made the shorter distance. One doesn't cancel the other out. Is we have a certain amount of leeway over here of 580 amma that we toilet on that, and therefore we make it. You make a techumin like a square. the meuso. Then you fill in the corner, you make a proper hypotenuse, a proper measurement for the corner, and you get that extra distance from the corner of the city. Or if you made the city, you squared the city, then you go another, and from that square you go 2,000 amos out this way, and another, whatever the cheshbon is to the corner.
But if there was a hill in the middle, so then the tchum would not be even from the whole side of the city. So wherever you draw the...
Well, no, if you try, listen, obviously there's a bunch of mountains, we measure the hill, but if you say if the hill, you don't measure it and it's missing a little, no, from the other side, yeah, if you, right. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. That's the point. I don't know. But shehem. So it says that nimsa atchum the keren alpayim v'lachsoinim shehem alpayim mishmonamayos. That the corner is alpayim mishmonamayos. V'lo yimdu me'enza keren alpayim ba'alachsav v'chem keren shekenegdo yitin achut mizel lezed. Don't measure 2,000 amos from the corner. She became master the shmonamayos shebekeren. You're massive people. They can walk. They have an extra 800 from the corner. V'gam lo yiyat atchum keneged ha'ir. Hela elef arba mayos v'esrim shmona. Don't make the tchum. Don't measure the tchum. Don't make start making mathematical. Well, it's only until here. If you made a circle around the city, let's say you want to make a diameter, so then don't make a smaller, trying to work, you get a square plus the hypotenuse. If you either you think, if I did 2,000 here, then it's going to be smaller. Don't do that. The whole thing has to be a square, and you get 2,800 in the corner. Afilu shifcha de'emanin lomer akan tchum Shabbos. An Eved, even a Shifcha, is neman to say Akan Tchum Shabbos. But Cotton low, but the Cotton. The Cotton says, here's Tchum Shabbos, he's on neman. Well, neman hagadol loymar, zocher ani she'ag kana'inu boim b'Shabbos kashisi Cotton. Cotton can give, Gadol can give edus of something he remembers when he was a Cotton. This is in my edus. To by Techumin and by Tigmar Ksubis, also by, In
these there are ones.
Even though over there it's also talking about he remembers Kal Yatsa Hinuma, that when she got married, that she was a psula, different things like that. There are different. I'm sure in the Gemara, but there's something they do so. And in general, I know that the person, the din is a person can be made on what he saw when he was a kid. A kid can't be made because he's not Neman, but a person can be made on his zikaron. What's interesting is also, so the field evident field of Shifcha, so even, I guess even Apikoros, because the Gemara in the Chagiga says that Meir is following Acher, and Acher said, Ad kan Tchum Shabbos, and Meir stopped. So anyone can be made, Ad kan Tchum Shabbos. Tov, Misha Yashul B'derech. Misha Yabba B'derech L'kanes L'ir. Someone who was trying to get to a city, Yashul B'derech L'nuach, and he sat, he lied down to rest for a few minutes. Suddenly, he looked up, it was dark. The other he doesn't know, he fell asleep, whatever it was, and he doesn't know whether he made it to the Tchuma or not. And he looks around, so let's say a person's trying to get back to Shabbos, right, from the mountains, and whatever it is, and he's trying to get to the Tchum trying to get to the Tchum, and he's driving, and suddenly, boom, it gets dark, stops the car on the side of the road. He has no idea if he hit the Tchum, starts walking, suddenly he sees within the Tchum. So, Kona Shvisa Be'ir. It's called being Kona Shvisa Be'ir, that he was trying to get there, even though it was a suffix, he didn't even think he got there. Since Hitaka did get there, it's enough. He gets the whole city. Let's say he's traveling, he's trying to get up to, because he's trying to get up to the mountains. Right, and he's driving, gets a flat tire, whatever it is. He's stuck. Shabbos comes, and he realizes that he's right next to a different town. Yeah, okay. Or let's say it's just even a Goyish town. Kana Shvisa So then he gets shvisa where he, from his car, let's say, where he is. Then he's stuck. Then he's going to shvisa from his car, and then he only goes alpayim amal l'chol ruach. In kalim alpayim amal mimakom shvisasu b'chatzi a year, if he can go into half of the city, he can only go into that half of the city. He doesn't just be able to get in and go around the whole city. So if you can get into a town, he has to be careful about not going further in. Let's say he was trying to go ahead and trying to get to the town, and then he says, okay, at Shabbos, I'm here, this is where I'm going to spend Shabbos here, and he realizes that, just over the ridge, he looks up, he realizes that where he was trying to get to was right there. He went ahead and he was koine shvisa of 2,000 amos, and then he is stuck. Let's just do one more. Okay, this later. Stop here.